These days, Paul Rudd is easily cast as a comedic leading man, but it was a long time coming. He had his big break playing Alicia Silverstone's stepbrother in Clueless all the way back in 1995, and it was that type of character that he'd go on to play for a long time. The boyish, goofy, all-American smart aleck, Rudd forged a career playing characters that the lead could play off. The quintessential best bro. In fact, he was considered so likeable by both his peers and fans that in 2009 he was voted Every Bro of the Year by GQ magazine.
I think it's a title that's impossible to live up to.
Professionally, I love that Paul is completely prideless and open and receptive. Paul is a leading man, and he was willing to come do a smaller part in Sarah Marshall. And I thought that really spoke to his character and spoke to the way he was raised and the kind of man he is. And as a friend, Paul has listened to every time I have a problem. Paul is happy to listen and give me advice, and I just couldn't have asked for a better friend.
Paul Rudd's early acting focus took many turns. At first, he was only interested in performing comic improv and monologues, but after a role in Shakespeare's Macbeth, he turned his attention to more dramatic training. He won a scholarship to Pasadena's American Academy of Dramatic Arts and followed this up with a semester at Oxford's British Drama Academy, where he appeared as Hamlet in scenes directed by Sir Ben Kingsley. Back in the States in the early 90s, Paul scored a number of TV roles, including a recurring role in Sisters opposite Ashley Judd. He made his feature film debut in Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, but it was playing Alicia Silverstone's know-it-all stepbrother in the comedy hit Clueless that really got him noticed.
There's something just so charismatic about him and magnetic, just you can't take your eyes off him, and this wonderful image of like the all-American, and it's like, America should be so proud.
Over the next few years, Rudd moved between the silver screen and the boards of Broadway, continuing to impress with his ability to bring characters to life. Then, in 1999, he co-starred as World War II pilot Wally Worthington in The Cider House Rules.
I remember seeing the first set of dailies and his face just came on the screen, and I literally just went, the screenplay was great and everything, but he brought so much more to the table. He just really colored it up and just layered it and made it complex and beautiful, and I just really think he's a great actor.
Although the film was critically acclaimed and received 2 Oscars, Rudd found his role offered little opportunity to showcase his skills.
There's something about this character that really wasn't that attractive to me, and that is that he's such a great guy, and that there isn't this, or you don't see this side to him, like these flaws. You know, he just seems like, yeah, he is all-American. He's a soldier, and he loves his girlfriend, and, you know, and everyone likes him, and that's really boring. It's boring to play.
In 2004, Rudd showed us just how funny he can be. One of my favourite movies, Anchorman, opposite Will Ferrell. Who can forget Brian Fantana, the misogynist expose reporter in 1970's San Diego? And what a killer moustache.
I think what Brian, me, brings to the group is a certain sense of style, of panache. There's a kind of a magnetism with Brian, so he thinks that the ladies enjoy.
Brian Fantana allowed Rudd to get back to his first love as an actor, the opportunity to improvise.
Yay! The script was so funny, none of us really want to venture too far off, but we'll usually do a couple takes as written and then do one with whatever we want. Or sometimes we'll film it and Adam will just change the lines like the day of the, right before the scene. It's like, nah, say this, it's better, it's funnier, and it usually is.
By this stage, Rudd was really getting noticed in comedy circles. So much so that comedy writing and directing superstar Judd Apatow brought him into his fold of actors for The 40-Year-Old Virgin, opposite Steve Carell.
I'm actually buddies with Carell and buddies with Romney. We did another movie together. Seth, I just kind of got to know a little bit on Anchorman, but hit it off with him really well. So the fact that we're actually now, we're all friends made it a lot easier.
The 40-Year-Old Virgin was a huge success, and it proved that Rudd was a comedic actor whose star was on the rise. So, what did he think of his performance?
Dude, I have a very great character, and I do a great job. That's with my great character. So, great.
Apatow not only got Rudd back for Knocked Up, but also cast him as the husband and father to his own real-life wife and kids. With such big shoes to fill, did Rudd manage to have any fun on the set?
It's a fun set to be on. His sets are usually pretty fun, and they're visitors. People come by all the time. But there's such a feeling of creativity. You know, most movie sets, it's you watch the same scene over and over again. They shoot it from different angles. You know, it's kind of a mechanical process, and some take might be better than another take. But the way Judd works, it's fun to watch every take because every one is so different, and you never know where they're going to go, or you never really know what people are going to come up with. And then Judd will yell things in, and it's, you know, there's always a lot of laughs on the set.
You know, we'll kind of shoot a scene as it's written, and then sometimes it'll go off in another direction, and Judd will say, all right, do it again, but this time just say something weird. And then it will turn into something else, and he's kind of organizing it in his mind and figuring, all right, how is that going to work and still, you know, tell the story.
Knocked Up also starred Seth Rogen and featured some hilarious scenes between the pair.
We're gonna do the script first.
Second sticks, T-Mark.
Then should we just do our one-liner quips?
I think we're just naturally, we have a natural propensity to insult each other in as many creative ways as possible. I think we find a lot of the same stuff funny. Often we get each other's references, as obscure as they get sometimes. We'll go off on a tangent where we both know that there's no way that this will make the movie because no one will know what we're talking about, but we still will do it.
Finally, Rudd had done enough to score a leading role. I Love You Man paired Rudd and Jason Segel as two guys in a serious bromance.
Yeah, I had known Paul Rudd for about 10 years. We were friends. We live in the same neighborhood in New York. And I just watched him do all these comedies and thought he was just so sharp and funny. And then Jason I directed in a TV series called Undeclared. He was a guest star, and I thought he was one of the weirdest, funniest performers I'd ever worked with. So when I finished the script, my producer, Donald DeLine, and I really had one conversation, and it was just, let's get these two guys, because we thought they'd play well off each other and bring a reality to it and be able to improvise, and they did all that and more.
We enjoyed it, I would say, quite a bit, and it helped that we'd worked together in the past and that we were friends, and when it came time to kind of, you know, just goofing around, it was beneficial. I liked it. Did you?
I liked it very much. It's also good to know someone's rhythm who you're improvising with, because Paul and I were able to throw each other assists and know that the other person was going to be there to catch the ball and send it home.
I thought you said just throw each other assist.
Yeah, sorry.
Ooh.
Good mates both on screen and off, the pair have chalked up a decent body of work together.
You know, this is the third time that we've worked together. The first time was on Knocked Up, where we didn't have much to do, but we did a lot of stuff actually that didn't make the movie. We got to kind of improvise, do this whole scene, which we spent about a half an hour doing, and it was really fun. And it seemed very funny. They told us it was cut for time. Maybe not. But we got to know each other more on Forgetting Sarah Marshall, so working on this one was, there was already, it was familiar, and we were friends, so that was cool.
Just like his character in I Love You Man, Rudd's all for a bit of man time.
I think it's really important. Sometimes a guy can be himself around his buds, right? I know that, like, I'm married and I love my wife and I have a kid and he's pretty cool. But I play cards once a week, and I look forward to that night more than I should, actually.
I've had kind of the great experience of working with friends of mine more than once, so I don't really have a best bro, but there's a, you know what, there's a God, you know what, I think about 10 bros pop to mind. That's the first time I've ever said that sentence.
So, does the word bromance sum up what Rudd and Segel have?
We tend to reject the term bromance because a word can't capture what's going on here.
What is going on here?
It's more of a sound.
Yeah.
For many years, Paul Rudd was just sort of vaguely recognisable. He was doing some good work in both comedy and drama, and he'd worked on some pretty big films, but was always sort of in the background. Then the success of 40-Year-Old Virgin and Knocked Up really proved his stock as a comedic leading man and as a bona fide star. Stay tuned to Star Picks for all the movies you know and the actors you love. Broadcast in glorious high definition with 5.1 surround sound where available. For more of the best in entertainment news, check out Your Movie Network channels. It's altogether better, on screen and at mnc.tv.